Did you know that it was in the works that Tupac was going to sign a death row before it happened?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
It was just every time that we went to see what Suge was going to visit Pac. You know, after the first meeting, you know, I knew who Suge was meeting with.
So tell me about that, man. Like, give me a play-by-play.
Suge would get in the car and talk about how, you know, Pac coming home, we gonna get him up out of there. We gonna be on the road, and you know, he was excited about getting Pac out of jail. And that just wasn't with Pac, man. I can remember a lot of excitement Suge seen with getting even some of the homies out, but he was extra excited about bringing Pac on his family. You know, one of the artists of the label. And after every trip that we would take down there, that's all he talked about on the way from us leaving, me leaving the restaurant, him leaving the prison, and going back to the airport. That's all he would talk about. Pac coming to the road. This shit gonna be incredible. You know, he's pumping it up. And he didn't share that with a lot of people. Again, that was conversations that I remember a few times, Michel'le being there. I remember, I think Reggie Wright a couple of times. David Kenner was almost always there when Suge went down. So, you know, you would hear the excitement. And then if you had a little knowledge of what the stuff that David Kenner was doing, you knew something was in the works.
So take me through that, man, the day that Tupac officially got out of prison and he joined Death Row. Just take me through that entire day leading up to that moment.
Suge, get up. We're gonna go to New York. I think it was like 3 or 4 days before we went to New York. And 3 or 4 days before he got out, we went to New York. We stayed there a while, as we always did. We went to the jail, as we normally did. And this day, it took much longer than usually. Like, I think we waited probably about 10 or 11 hours. Like, all day. And Suge come out to the car. David Kenner came out. And it was like a break or something in between them coming over to the restaurant that we were over there eating. I think Michel'le and I was there at that time. I'm not quite sure. And when he come out of the restaurant, he went back in. They all went back in, and it was like, I guess it was like a break session for him to whatever it was that they were doing. Suge come out, David Kenner come out, and Pac come out like walking in this George Jefferson ass walk. I had never met Pac in my life. He walking fast, and they walking to the car, and we get on the flight on the way back. We leaving where it was. I wish I remember what city that was. Whatever city it was, we came into the major city. I think it was back into New York. And we were flying on a private jet. All I remember is maybe about 5, 6 strippers. About 5 strippers. We on this plane, smoking, drinking. We land in LA. I think we landed Burbank Airport, a private airport, wherever private planes landed. We landed at the airport. Went my way because I had been gone like about 2 weeks. My baby mama at home. Suge and Pac get in the car and they go their way. And later on, we're gonna celebrate Pac coming up to the studio for the first time. Everybody know Pac home. I get up to the studio. I go to the back. We got a gym next door to the studio. Pac get out of the car, walk up to the door, and before he walked in the door, he fell flat out face and hit the ground. Boom, had passed out. They pouring water on him and shit to wake him up. He get up, they take him over in the gym room. And I'm not quite sure if it was because of all of the smoke, the drinking, or whatever it is that he passed out. But after he came through, I never seen Pac. You just never seen Pac leaving the studio like that. From that moment on, Pac was in that studio in K&M cutting records. Cutting records every day. That's all that was on his mind. If he wasn't cutting records, he was reading. unless we was partying.
So Snoop, he said that he was one of the reasons why Tupac joined Death Row. He said that he was the one going to Suge Knight like, yo, go bail Tupac out. How you feel about that?
Could have been. I can't. I don't dispute any of, unless I know for sure when it comes to Snoop or any of those guys, because they're my senior when it comes to Death Row. And Snoop was the next, what was the man before Pac got there. Snoop was like the first in command when it came to artists, so to say. Snoop Dogg was the man over there. So if he said it, he probably did have some type of persuading or something like that. He probably did get you to do that. Now, when he was there, I don't think none of us was happy. Snoop, none of them was happy when Pac was there.
I heard that a whole lot of celebs came to see Tupac at Can-Am Studios when he
Yes, sir.
first got out.
Yes, sir.
Tell me some of the celebs. That came.
Man, everybody. Queen Latifah. Jasmine Guy. Faith Evans. You could just think of just like names, like all of the West Coast artists. And even those artists that you seen that appeared on them albums, them was artists that was stopping through to show love. And Pac was just throwing people on the record. Like his friends, he was throwing them on the record. Even the artists that was around Death Row, because I hadn't done anything to deserve to be on his record. But from day one, Pac liked me because I knew old school music. And he would always ask me to sing. He always asked me to sing, oh man, sing that old school. I bet you don't know this. And me and him and Suge, when we were together, that's kind of what we do. We would go through old school R&B cuts and sing them, word for word. So I think he liked me as a singer. And you would see him kind of like call everybody. And as I said, even though the light was on him, he always made sure that everybody else kind of got a little bit of that light. Especially if they wanted it.
Faith Evans, she was one of the people that came to see Tupac when he was at Can-Am Studios when he first got out.
Yes. Yeah, she came. Faith Evans came to the studio. I was there. I was in the studio working in the front.
What happened?
I was in the studio working. I don't remember. They keep saying the A and B studio. I think I worked in the A. There was a front studio and a back studio. I was working in the A studio all the time, the front studio. And you always, it's cameras all the time. Like you can kind of see people coming up. And when in the hallway, when I was out there, she came in and they sent the runners back out to get all these bags and shit. Bunch of bags. The big Louis Vuitton case. And when you seen it come in, when he went in the back, this Louis Vuitton case had, underwear, drawers, socks, clothes, like a bunch of shit that she had bought him. A bunch of shit. It was like almost like gifts from him getting out of jail.
And she was still married to Biggie at the time?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely she was married. And that's when that friction was there, because I even remember the session. I was in the session when she recorded, I wonder how they call you bitch. Why they call you bitch? Faith Evans the first person to sing it. And they tried to clear it, and Puffy and them people didn't clear it. So they snuck Michel'le voice on top of it. You still can hear Faith singing on it. Michel'le can't sing that straight.
So, Faith Evans, Tupac get out of prison, she comes, she buy him a whole lot of clothes and stuff.
Whole lot.
And you said it was like $40K worth of clothes?
If I can think about 20 to 40, maybe more. The case cost a lot that the shit was in.
And you just assuming that it looked like it was like $40K, $30K.
Yeah, I mean, at this time I kind of knew what money was. I kind of look at something and tell, and it was more than $20,000 worth of shit in that box.
So how you feel about her story? I don't know if she just saying that to try to, change her story up with her and Tupac, but how you feel about her claiming that she only came to LA because she was broke and she didn't have any money, so she came to LA to
write. I think she said something like that.
To write.
Yeah, I mean, why she came to LA, I don't know. I know she was at the studio. And I do know that One of Suge ways of getting back at you is fucking your girl. Like, the war starts with your girl. I'm gonna fuck your bitch. I'm gonna get this big mama. So that kind of started with Misa. So, then Faith there.
And you said that Faith Evans, she was trying to disguise herself.
Yes, for sure.
What was she wearing?
I think she had on like whatever she had a scarf trying to like wrap this part up. In a hoodie. Like trying to come in low key. But you knew who she was. Especially when we got in the back of the room, I knew who she was. I knew exactly who she was.
At this time, man, because it was known, because I think Tupac did an interview with Vibe while he was in prison. So it was known that it was friction
For sure.
between Tupac and Biggie.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to get the timeline. So, yeah, man, that's crazy, man.
I mean, yeah,
she knew it was friction between Biggie and Tupac.
Definitely.
And I did see a few interviews from her and her being in documentaries, and she did admit that she felt the type of way about Biggie, and Biggie was cheating on her with Little Kim.
Biggie was cheating.
Charlie Baltimore.
Yeah, so I mean, she probably was young and doing the same thing any other, female
So
would
you
do
think
at that
that's what
time.
it was? She
probably was mad and
scorned,
and probably went and got a little even, but for sure, whatever the reason was, like it don't take a rocket science to put it all together. Y'all was together, babe. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? And then years later, she married his friend, right?
Yeah, years later, she got Stevie J.
If you'll marry his friend, you for sure fuck Pop.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, pretty much. So she was pretty much scorned, and went to go mess with Biggie enemy, Tupac.
Yeah.
Damn, trifling, man. Was you in the studio when Faith Evans and Tupac did Wonder Why They Call You Bitch?
Yes, I was.
Tell me about that session.
I just remember them recording it. Didn't have anything to do with it, but I remember her going over stacking her vocals and things like that, and everybody playing it and listening to the song when it was over with. And from the time of listening to it to the time of them coming back saying, she can't get on the record out because they won't approve it. Her label wouldn't approve her being on the record. And they went in and put Michel'le's vocals on the top of some of her vocals.
What was the vibe like between Tupac and Faith when they was in the studio?
Just like any other vibe, smoking, drinking, and chilling. She looked very happy.
And you made a comment. You said that the whole time they was in the studio, Faith Evans was underneath Tupac.
Definitely up under him. Side by side. He's sitting on the couch, and she kind of like leaned up under him. And sitting there chilling. Smoking blunts, recording, chilling, and going back in the booth. But coming right back to sit up under Pac.